Denny Patterson, Instinct Magazine. Hi, Alia. How are you doing today?
Hi, good. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. So tell me, how excited are you for number one Happy Family USA to premiere on Prime Video?
I'm very excited. It's been, animation takes a long time to make, so it's been a long time coming. So I'm very excited for everyone to finally see it.
Good, good. So you play Mona Hussein. So what drew you to this project, and what was your reaction when you first read the script?
Well, Ramy Youssef is a friend of mine, and so when he first told me about this project, I was titillated, to say the least. I was excited and kind of shocked that he was able to make a show like this. And then I was really honored that he asked me to play the sister. And reading the script, I thought it was hilarious. And the team that he got involved was really, the best of the best at what they do. And I love doing animated voices. And so this one felt like a very rad mix to do this kind of, adult cartoon. So it's
Mhm.
my favorite genre.
Yeah, definitely. And this show is described as both widely absurd and deeply political. How did you approach striking that tonal balance with your character?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like anything, finding that tone is it being grounded, so you relate to these characters. It's not over the top, but at the same time, giving it that energy to sell these kind of big strides of plot and humor, and it's still a cartoon, so like they do have all these different colors to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like finding that line, and ultimately, selling the humor. I think it was about like what's the funniest version of
Mhm.
every scene. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because voice acting can be incredibly freeing, but also challenging. What was the experience like stepping into animation for this project? And did it differ from what you've done in live action?
Yeah, I mean, animation is very different from live action because you can't say anything with your face or your body, and I consider myself to be quite expressive, but sometimes my voice doesn't match the facial expression. So when you're doing animation, you really have to like kind of double down and push that extra energy to make sure that it's translating. But again, the team, with Mona and Pam and Ramy, everyone was really there to help guide, to make sure it was transferring, and they guide the actors and really pull that performance out of them.
Definitely. And you've always gravitated towards offbeat, boundary pushing projects like Arrested Development, Search Party. What makes number one Happy Family USA stand out? And what did you personally gain by being involved with this project?
What did I personally gain, besides getting paid money? Not that much, but I did gain. What did I gain? I mean, it was a wonderful experience, honestly. To be a part of something that is saying something that I really care about is far and few between these days as an artist. So, I was raised in a Muslim family in America. I was 11 years old when 9/11 happened. So I relate a lot to how the family felt the need to code switch and the humor and the tragedy that comes with that. So it felt
Yeah.
very personal to me to be able to, give voice literally to this role. And I'm a really big fan of Ramy Youssef's and all the work that he does and what he stands up for and his playfulness and sincerity and softness with topics like this. He really comes from the heart, and it's just the kind of art I want to make. So I feel really lucky to have been a part of it.
Definitely. And LGBTQ plus representation and allyship are also important factors to you and in this series. How does your character reflect or engage with queer identity or a chosen family in this context?
Yeah, I think Mona is struggling with coming out to her family. She's gay, and it's hard, I think, for any daughter to come out to her family, but especially if you come from a Muslim family, it can be tricky. And just any family that comes from a different world, and they're in America and they're trying to navigate, but when you're the children of immigrants, you have a very different relationship to the country you live in. You
Mhm.
consider yourself very American, but when then you're at home, there's these kind of old world things that actually make you this layered, beautiful person. But it is also what's challenging about how you integrate into this American culture. Growing
Yeah.
up, I never felt white enough. I never felt Arab enough in certain environments. So you're always kind of straddling this in between. And especially America is like a very strange place where we, on one hand, everybody's welcome, and then on the other hand, we're more biased and racist than any other country in the world. So it's a weird mix. But yeah, Mona definitely is going through a lot as a high schooler and as a young woman. Um, and yeah, coming to terms with how to accept herself in many ways. So it's like, yeah, she's gay and understanding that, but she's also, I love how ambitious she is. And kind of as a woman, it's really hard to be that ambitious. And she's a very
Mhm.
type A, smart, go-getter. And sometimes that's even more challenging when you're a girl. So I like all the
Definitely.
different layers of her. Yeah.
For sure. So you would say that the show really contributes to that conversation of authentic representation?
For sure. I think that's what it's commenting on, and then also all these characters are flawed. So they're not these like perfect people at all. They're struggling and they're messed up. But they're trying to navigate their world. And then 9/11 happens to be the backdrop. So that's just the that's just the added
Well, add
flame.
a player into it, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, not only do we have Ramy, but we also have Mandy Moore, Kieran Culkin, Chris Red, so many talented people within this ensemble. What was the dynamic like working with this powerhouse group, even in voiceover?
Yeah, I mean, sadly we didn't get to do a lot of scenes together. Rami and I were able to record a couple scenes. The actress Megan, who plays my girlfriend, we were able to record a couple scenes. But yeah, with animation, because of scheduling and stuff, they have to kind of get it in as much as they can wherever you are. And we did two seasons kind of at once, so it took years of recording, until we finally finished it. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see the final product. I've only seen the pilot really, so like to see it all actually come together will be really satisfying.
Mhm. Is there a certain episode that you worked on that you are most excited to see?
I'm excited to see her run for president of her school. There's a lot for Mona to play with there, and
Mhm.
a lot of speeches, intensity. So I'm like a little nervous, but excited to see those.
Awesome. Is this your first animated project that you worked on before?
No, I've done several. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you have. Yeah, yeah. Well, then let me ask, like, what excites you the most about where adult animation is heading right now?
Um, when I was younger, I used to watch Adult Swim all the time, and it was just like there were a few shows, but that was kind of the only space for them. And now it's a lot more mainstream and a lot more popular. I mean, this is a show on Amazon that's getting promoted so much. Like, animated adult animation never used to have that kind of that space pop
Yeah.
culturally, I don't think, but it's grown so much. So there's like a lot more room for it. I mean, I did a show called Scavenger's Reign that was really beautiful animation. And I think it's just like all the different styles and layers. And also you could get away with just like saying a lot more things in animation, like this is a risky kind of show, but if it was live action, it would be insane. Like it would just be a lot harder. It would be like a drama. So
Mhm.
it's fun that you can mess with tone with animation and I think say very big things, but it kind of you're like, all right, moving on. Now you have a cartoon lamb dancing in front of you, and you're kind of like, whoa, what did I just see? So it's kind of nice how what messages you can kind of get across, not so heavy-handed.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Well, final question. What else do you ultimately hope audiences, especially those who might see themselves in these characters, take away from the show?
Um, yeah, just, a deeper understanding of like other people aren't so scary.
Mhm.
Um, Muslims love this country. Maybe more than some American-born people. Just to be overall like a little more understanding and realize that something as tragic as 9/11 like affected all of us. But yeah, we're living in kind of scary times, and I think if there's any light and humor on just kind of like how we're different but we're the same, would be really helpful. And just to understand that immigrants love this country, so much and kind of seeing how they try to navigate it. Yeah, hopefully
Mhm.
that's eye-opening for people.
Yes, definitely fantastic. Alia, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.